As far as individual sports go, MMA is truly one of one. Everything tailored around the athlete as they're given a chance to craft their own legacies with the world watching. One way fighters like to add their own personal touch is in their walkouts, and my god have we seen it all. From wrong songs being played to movie-themed fancy dress, no stone has been left unturned when it comes to creative, funny, and borderline bizarre octagon entrances. I'm George from Fight Game Insider, and in no particular order, this is the 10 most iconic MMA walkouts. Number 10. Brian Ortega. UFC 226 saw California's own Brian Ortega take his second crack at UFC Gold when he faced off against reigning featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski. The two were coming off the back of an Ultimate Fighter series where they coached together, so the stakes were already high. Being the challenger, Ortega was first, making his way to the octagon. The crowd in attendance knew the main event was about to begin when a familiar sound projected through the arena. Brian had gone for a The Purge style entrance, inspired by the movie series where all murder and crime is legalized for 24 hours. In the same spooky LED masks featured in the film, he and his team slowly made their way down the aisle, delivering us one of the most iconic and memorable walkouts of recent memory. Daniel Cormier, who was commenting the card at first, didn't realize what was going on and had to be informed about the movie's backstory. The resemblance then became clear. Ortega was there to purge. Number 9. Israel Adesanya. Then undefeated New Zealand prodigy Israel Adesanya blitzed through the middleweight division with a swag like never before seen, drawing eyeballs reminiscent of the sport's biggest stars. Not long after winning the interim title in a Fight of the Year contender against Kelvin Gastelum, the Nigerian native found himself booked in for the undisputed shot against the Reaper, Robert Whittaker. Already known for his flashy dance moves, Izzy took the moment to share his talent with the world as he performed a clearly rehearsed routine with 3 other dudes. 2 of which, Jay and Jesse, being some of the original guys who taught him how to dance in the first place. In true Adesanya fashion, he nailed the performance and had the Melbourne crowd gassed up to say the least. At the post-fight press conference, he told reporters how he wanted to do this back in February when he faced Anderson Silva, but the UFC wouldn't let him. Although now, headlining his own pay-per-view event in the biggest combat sports event in Australian history, I think he found the leverage. Number 8. Mike Perry. This is by far one of my personal favorites, has me cracking up every time I watch it. Back in 2020, Platinum Mike Perry geared up to make his entrance against Tim Means, with sights set on securing his second win in a row after defeating Mickey Gall earlier that year. Originally requesting the Halo theme as his walkout song, referring to the game, things took an unexpected twist as he slowly realized the song they'd given him was Halo by Beyonce.
What the showed as a well-rounded skill set. Hey, this was interesting.
There's only one way Mike Perry's responding to this situation, and that's by owning the moment, which is exactly what he did. As he sang lyrics from the bottom of his lungs, the commentary team could be heard laughing and joking about how funny the mix-up was, which, in all fairness, was absolute gold. Combat sports wouldn't be the same without Mike Perry, and seeing him achieve the success he is over at Bare Knuckle FC does make me happy.
Just kind of rolled with the punches. I mean, Mike Perry.
Number 7. Anderson Silva, the Michael Jackson one. UFC Hall of Famer Anderson the Spider Silva left a truly unique legacy, one that truly dates back to the Pride days. One of his fights under the Pride promotion sticks out in particular, not so much for the bout itself, but for the entrance to the arena. In tribute to the legend of Michael Jackson, Silva put on his top hat and gave us a dance for the ages as he came out to Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Where most people are super tense, trying to psych themselves up for the fight, Silva is so calm and collected, it gives him that loosey-goosey feel, allowing him to perform like this. If anyone's going to pull off this iconic entrance, it's Anderson Silva. MJ would be proud. Number 6. Jon Jones. After serving a year-long suspension for his involvement in an alleged hit-and-run incident, which saw him stripped of the light heavyweight title, UFC 197 would be Jon's chance at redemption in his long-awaited comeback fight against OSP. With a perfectly chosen song, Coming Home by Dirty Money, Jones made his way to the octagon in a bone-chilling moment which sent shivers down spines. The lyrics singing, "I know my kingdom awaits and they've forgotten my mistakes," which couldn't be more suited to the situation. Jones would go on to win a 5-round unanimous decision that night at the MGM Arena. But little did many of us know at the time how dominant the rest of his legacy would play out. Number 5. Lee Murray. Now, this next one is made great by the backstory to go with it. In the early 2000s, Lee Murray was a highly touted British prospect who'd made his way into the UFC middleweight scene. Riding a 4-fight win streak, his debut saw him face Jorge Rivera, who he submitted in the first round. But despite a solid performance, it was his walkout that had everyone talking. Entering the arena in a prison outfit and face mask, similar to that of Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, this would become unexpectedly relevant when years later he would make worldwide news for pulling off the biggest bank heist in the history of the United Kingdom. Targeting the Securitas depot in Tonbridge, England, his crew finished their day $92 million richer, leaving more than triple that behind simply as they ran out of room. Eventually, Lee was arrested and served up a hefty 25-year prison sentence, but the story still lives on and was portrayed in a documentary series titled Catching Lightning, which breaks down his story in detail. He's still in prison till this day. Number 4. Conor McGregor. The notorious Conor McGregor had many infamous walkouts through his time, but the one most remembered was that of UFC 189 in his bout with America's Chad Mendes. His trademark song had always been The Foggy Dew by singer Sinead O'Connor, which leaned into his Irish heritage, usually accompanied by a Biggie Smalls mix. However, tonight, the song played out from start to finish. Being his first attempt at UFC gold in the form of an interim featherweight strap, McGregor deemed it a suitable moment to actually bring out the singer in person for a live performance. With the incomparable McGregor hype in full swing and a die-hard fanbase, the crowd were ecstatic to say the least. The vibe was felt around the world with huge anticipation for the Notorious One and how he would fare competing at the highest level. After a back-and-forth war, Conor would eventually take control and finish Mendes in the second round, putting a capstone on the night. Although some of McGregor's best moments were still ahead of him, his career would begin a sad downfall following the crossover boxing bout with Floyd Mayweather. Let us not forget the golden ages. Number 3. Darren Till. Back in 2018, Darren Till was by far the biggest star coming out of the UK scene. Fighting out of Liverpool, England, the then 16-0-1 Scouser had the opportunity of a lifetime to headline in his home city at the Echo Arena. The UK fans are known to be wild at the best of times, but having their local hero walk out to Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond in a tribute to Liverpool Football Club built an atmosphere like no other. The audience sang along as Till pranced to the octagon with the confidence of an undefeated fighter. The bout was a close and technical chess match against striking legend Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, but the late knockdown by Darren ultimately secured him the victory and the arena erupted. Unfortunately, Till would fall on hard times following this bout, winning 1 in his next 6. But there looks to be some promising boxing opportunities in the works for the Scouser's next step. We wish him all the best. Number 2. James Huna, Men in Black. On a cold winter night in London, New Zealand native James Huna gave us a walkout for the ages when he entered the Wembley Arena for his light heavyweight bout against Ryan Jimmo. After an impressive come-from-behind victory, it wasn't his performance that had people talking. From the moment the music played, it was clear what was about to happen next. James walked out to the classic Men in Black theme song, accompanied by 4 other guys, all dressed in identical black suits and shades, doing the famous dance from the movie. Dana White has never been one for fancy entrances, so it's surprising he pulled this off. The victory would be his 4th in a row, so it's easy to say James had a good night at the office, as did fans with this unforgettable entrance. Number 1. Israel Adesanya. Again, making this list for the second time, we just couldn't leave out Israel Adesanya's Undertaker-themed walkout at UFC 276. By this point, Adesanya had some expectations to live up to as far as walkouts go, and when he stepped in to face middleweight contender Jared Cannonier, boy, did he rise to the occasion. Walking down the aisle with The Undertaker's infamous hat, holding an urn with Cannonier's name on it. Israel had no idea that WWE executives Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H were sitting in the audience. The crowd were emphatic about the entrance, and this would end up being the talking point of the night, as unfortunately the bout itself, which was expected to be a barn burner, ended up being slow and preservative, with Adesanya taking the decision victory in what many considered to be a lackluster performance. And that just about wraps it up for today's video. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and head-kick the bell icon to never miss a new upload. I'm George, and until next time, see ya!